Hey everybody out there, this is the man who forgets who his real name is again. And today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I recently saw DZeef discuss on his channel about a week or so ago. And it's something that I had previously mentioned quite some time ago. And I wanted to go in more detail and take what he was talking about in his video, talking about why do casual players and competitive players argue, and I wanted to add to this conversation. Why does this happen? Number one, identify the problem, and number two, how the community is different. I touched on this. If you want to, there's a video I did, a discussion video not too long ago, talking about how the Yu-Gi-Oh community is a lot bigger than we individually think. We think of the community as a card game community, because that's mainly what we do here on this channel and what many other YouTubers do. But it's a lot bigger than that. So that's what we're going to be discussing about today. So why do competitive and casual players argue? Why do I feel that is? Now, having a YouTube channel for going on 5 years now and doing Yu-Gi-Oh videos and deck profiles, and being a player who has played competitively and casually throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's career, I guess as long as Yu-Gi-Oh has been a thing I've been playing, there's a lot of different reasons why this is, I feel like. I have had the privilege and gone to many different locals, many different regionals, a couple of YCSs here and there. I get the mindset of both sides. I can float in between worlds pretty easily. So, the mindsets are completely different. People have to understand that first, and that's perfectly fine. People approach Yu-Gi-Oh differently, depending upon what they're looking to get from Yu-Gi-Oh. That is the number one thing you have to keep in mind, because a competitive player, a very competitive player, let's go off that topic, is looking to succeed in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. Make him a name for himself, perhaps. You know, he enjoys winning, and he enjoys Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's why he puts so much effort into being a competitive player. That's why he does it. He could maybe enjoy doing something else, but he decides to put it into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's his hobby. Okay, that's his passion. A casual player may enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Just as much as the competitive player. The casual player may know just as much as knowledge as that competitive player does, because I've known competitive players that I can just talk to them about the anime and they know just as much as I do, really. And you're like, wow, and you're playing Spirals or playing, you know, Teledad. It doesn't matter. We enjoy, both sides, both communities enjoy the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. But back on the topic about the mindset. Mindset is different. The super competitive player wants to win. The casual player enjoys it most of the time, not all the time, mind you, but most of the time because of nostalgia reasons. They have fond memories. It's the same thing as the Pokemon effect has happened over the years, where people prefer the original 150, Johto, and then after that they're like, I don't like the new Pokemon stuff. The same thing has happened in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and talking to a few Magic players, I'm not proficient in Magic, but from talking to them, this has somewhat happened in the Magic community over the course of Magic being a long-running game. And I think as time goes on in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, this will continue to happen. The game has completely changed from what it was originally. We have to agree with that. That is complete true. The core sets are different. Archetypes are more of a thing. There are different mechanics nowadays. The game has evolved. And a super casual player may enjoy playing it like they did when they were young because it brings good memories. Now, there's this middle ground that I think DZeef missed and whiffed on. I'm not disagreeing with his arguments. I think he may have pointed it out, but he didn't make it clear enough. But I think a majority of Yu-Gi-Oh players, from visiting different locals and going to different places and events over the years, fall into. And that is the casual competitive players. Now, I, in my autistic, using my artistic talents as best I could, tried to make a drawing to explain to you what I'm trying to discuss in this video more thoroughly. So hopefully my new camera that I'm using in this video shows the details a little bit more. So let's go over this little diagram bit by bit here. So this is a diagram here we have. We have the casual players over here. We have the competitive players over here. We have the middle ground, which there is middle ground in Yu-Gi-Oh, mind you. You have the box, which you see out on the outside, which are the very casual players. I consider this people that, for the most part, I'll explain here, they love Yu-Gi-Oh, but they don't play the card game. If people are unknown to this in the Yu-Gi-Oh community or just the Yu-Gi-Oh tube community, there's a lot of Yu-Gi tubers out there, or just people that do Yu-Gi-Oh videos, not about the card game, but about the show and the manga and the ongoing anime and all that stuff. They don't even talk about the card game. They don't even talk about the new cards. They just talk maybe about cards that came out, like Swords of Revealing Light and character deck profiles that came out years ago. They just do stuff on that. They don't want to focus on the new stuff. The only time they'll focus on the new stuff is if old, like, anime-esque cards come out of a new set. I'm not joking. It's a thing, and it's very popular on the YugiTube platforms and just on the YouTube platforms. I honestly think next to card pack openings, it's the second biggest thing out there, really. Then you have the outlier, which is the, as you can see here, as I try to go here, where I put pretty much people that don't play Yu-Gi-Oh in general. You have to accommodate that there's a community out there that does not even play Yu-Gi-Oh. They don't even know what Yu-Gi-Oh is. They may have played it when they were kids. They don't play it anymore, period. Like I said here, the main focus I want to focus on is not this so much here, where the super casual players is pretty much in the box here. We're going to mainly focus on the box and the circles here. So, the box, as I try to point here. Believe me, it's really hard to do. But the box here, the super casual players, like I said, they mainly care about the anime and manga, and they think that these cards are good because, oh, it works for me a couple times. And believe me, from having a YouTube channel for a long time, as I go back and forth between this diagram here, it happens. I've had people say that I should play Magical Cylinder in a Chain Burn deck profile I did about a year ago. I keep getting Magical Cylinder, and I'm like, Magical Cylinder, decent, good card, was a pretty good, okay card in certain decks if you want to play it in a certain playing style back in the day, and even within probably the last 7 years. But as the game has gotten faster and faster and faster, and more back row removal is a thing, not so much anymore. That mentality is still with the super casual player. And I think most of the fans on my channel, most of the subscribers and viewers, they're the competitive players, or the guys that fall into this middle ground, such as myself. You've played this game for years on end. You love the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! No matter what. Through thick and thin, you love the card game because it brings you happiness and you enjoy just playing for fun. It brings you fun and enjoyment to some degree. And fun and enjoyment, like DZ said, and I'll say again, he hit the head right on the nail right on the head. It's different to different players. Like I was saying in the beginning, a super competitive player will enjoy it because they love winning. The casual player, or the super even casual player, or even the middle ground player, they enjoy it because it's fun for different reasons. The super casual player because it brings back good memories. The middle ground guy because he enjoys the competitive aspect of making something that's just he made up out of his head, like me, for fun. But he just enjoys winning it for once in a while because why the hell not? I'm kind of tired of playing Spirals every day. If people didn't know, I've been playing Spirals. Haven't been playing it since Christmas. I got kind of bored of it. So people don't know that about me, but beside the point here. That's what you have here. Super casual. Then you have your casual players, which are the guys that they don't want to invest too much in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! They play for fun. They go to locals. The guys that you see all the time. They sometimes go to regionals, sometimes go to a YCS maybe even. But they're not looking to be the best player ever. They're just doing it because it's a hobby. Like me. And a lot of times this involves old school players even. It really does. Players that they're like, well, I enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! For what it is, for better or for worse, but, you know, I don't want to invest a lot of money in it because I don't want to spend a lot of money in it. Then you have your very competitive players, which over here, and your super competitive players. These are the guys that go to every regional. They take time off to work to go to every YCS, every major event. They want to be the best they can be for many different reasons because they enjoy winning. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that, and I mean that. Then you have your middle ground, which I feel like a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community falls into, which we're going to talk about right now as I put the diagram down. So like I said, I've broken it down for you in that little segment right there of your different types of players that play this game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, the middle ground guys, excuse me, mainly focus on players like me, which I feel I fall into. A guy that throughout the course of Yu-Gi-Oh!'s career, he's played competitively. He even plays competitively now. I play Spirals from time to time, online and in real life. Haven't played it since Christmas, mind you, because it gets kind of boring doing the same combos over and over again. But he'll play a deck just because he wants to be a competitive player, but he'll also not feel bad about having this little fun deck he plays once in a while. Like, I know players out there, like my boy Pee-wee. He will play competitive decks, but he will love playing his Blackwing deck, man. He loves Blackwings. And there's other players out there that just like, you know, like my boy Suji. I remember back when I first met Suji. He loved playing Cosmos. He loved it. But he also loved playing Dark Magician back before we even had like good Dark Magician support. So that's what I'm trying to say here is we have people out there, and I think a lot of players fall into this community. I think these super competitive players out there, I've seen them. I've seen the guys that frown down upon. I've been to enough locals to see enough guys that like they frown down upon the guys that just play for fun because they want to play for fun. It fathoms them that they don't understand it, and they look down upon it and they snark at people. Some of my friends will know who these people are. Some of them maybe not. But it's something I've noticed. It does exist. Maybe not as much as people propagate it to be, but it does exist. But there's also people who, I think people also have this misconception that people are pros at Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, I'll take that back. I'll take that back actually because I misspoke there. There are pros at Yu-Gi-Oh! But there's only a handful of them. There's only a few I would ever consider to be. They're good at the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they've put enough effort. You have to put a lot of effort if you want to be super competitive in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want to succeed. You have to put in a lot of effort. There is no doubt in my mind. If you've played competitively in any format, and you've played with the mindset that I want to win, it takes a lot of effort, and you know it. Because playtesting, proper playtesting, playing against other decks, knowing how other decks operate, it takes a lot of work. There's no secret sauce. It's plain and simple. It works. It's proven to work. And you also have to be a little bit lucky in your matchups and everything else, because you may do all the practice in the world, but stuff happens. Bad matchups, you need to know proper side decking. Maybe your side decking was off because you made a missed call. Stuff happens, man. It happens. So that's what I'm trying to say. It takes a lot. But even as a casual player, to make a rogue deck even competitive, which is that middle ground, which I think is a lot of people that love tier 2, the tier 2 decks and lower, and they're just like, you know, I mean, I don't mind playing the, you know, going to locals some nights and playing the super competitive deck, but there's some nights I'm just going to go because I have this wonky idea in my head and I want to test it out. You know, with this, you know, oh, you know, let's try this out because this could work. I just feel like playing this casual deck. And it happens a lot. And a lot of these players, they'll show their colors. And you'll know this because in formats like we're in, or have been recently, especially this past year, I saw it so much. Where competitive players will get in just, I'm sick and tired of playing Zodiacs. I'm sick and tired of playing True Draco. I'm sick and tired of Spirals. And you know what they did? They played that deck a couple nights. If they were going to a major event like a regionals or a YCS, they would take it. If they were an ARG even, if it was in Richmond, they would take it, and I have no problem with it because everybody else is going to be playing that, and if you want to succeed, you need to bring that deck. But if they were just for locals for the night, they hit the place up, they're like, you know, man, I'm bored of playing Zoo all the time. Let's just go play some freaking Blackwings. Or like me, I was like, let me just get my Blue Eyes deck out. Or like, hey, man, you want to get raw sphere moded? Oh! So like things like that. It's the fun aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh! That keeps people in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Be it for competitive play, be it for the middle, but every competitive player out there that I've ever known, eventually at one point in time, they either have a favorite deck that they turn back to because they just love playing that deck, or they have multiple favorite decks. They're like, I don't know what to decide. Like me, I have many different decks because I just love enjoying making deck profiles, and I'm a deck builder at heart. But that's something that's very true. They argue about it because they see different sides of the same coin. It's literally very... when you're the guy that's in the middle and you're like, dude, competitive guy over here, number A. Dude, I get your point. Dude, you're like the guy in the middle ground, and it does exist. I think a majority of these players nowadays, as the game is going on and on, are the guys that are like getting older, up in age, like me. I mean, look at all my dang white hair I got now. Like, for Pete's sake, I got so much white hair, even though I'm only 28. But mostly genetics, mind you. But a lot of players out there are in this middle ground because they had priorities in life, but they don't want to spend a lot of money doing it. But they still want to be good at the game. So they fall in that middle ground a lot of the time. But there is, like I said, there's different people. And why do they argue? Because they look at the same coin and they see it from different perspectives. That's literally what I'm going to say in this video. They look at it and see fun, the word fun in Yu-Gi-Oh! Which, if you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, you have to be enjoying it for fun. Be it competitively, casually, or semi-casually, or competitively. That middle ground right there. You have to. Otherwise, you're going to burn out really quickly if you're just playing it to gain, notoriety and everything, because we don't get good prize support right now in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! When we haven't. So that's what I'm going to say. But there are, like I said earlier, people are going to ask me, what do I say? It's like some of the pros are that I feel like in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's like the Godfather trio, I say, with like the ones we all look up to. Your Billy Breaks, your Jeff Joneses, the guys that time and time again throughout the course of Yu-Gi-Oh!'s history pretty much have always been there. They're always people that people just look up to as, this guy's a good player. He's been here for a long time. He knows the game. He knows the history. That's just my thoughts on it. Especially when they know offset cards like, oh yeah, I know that card. That you can try that out, man. We used to play this back in the day. Maybe it'll work in this deck because it kind of functions similarly. It happens. But tell me your thoughts down below. Why do you think competitive and casual players argue? Do you think my little diagram here explained everything enough? And I just want to talk about it a little bit more because it's a topic, every time I hear it come up, I want to discuss it. Because I feel like as a community, the more closer we come together, the more healthier Yu-Gi-Oh! Will be in the long run. The more we can work together to, as a community, to get things we want from Konami as one voice instead of multiple different voices. Instead of arguing about little things, work on the big problems. And that's why I feel that these type of videos are important. But tell me your thoughts down below. And until next time, guys, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling. I, Seto Kaiba, will see you next time. Good luck dueling to all of you. Take care, everybody.